Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks for sticking around for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Chris Adamski from the Trib in just a matter of moments. And we're taking your phone calls tonight at 412-575-2600 is the number. We definitely have a lot to talk about, and the Pirates are the number one choice. But since we have our Steelers insider from the Trib, Chris Adamski, on here tonight, obviously we're going to be talking about the Steelers. Camp opens on Tuesday. That's when they have to report, Tuesday morning. Most of the players will be there Monday. The first practice is Wednesday, which is open to the public. So a lot of storylines going on up there. It seems like we know who the starters are going to be mainly, and most of the backups. There's a couple open jobs, I would imagine, and they would be backups of backups, I would guess, when they get to final 53, and that'll all be figured out in the next few weeks up in Latrobe. So it should be fun hanging out with Chris and a whole bunch of other Steelers reporters up there interviewing all these guys. I don't know about you, but you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be different. I'm looking forward to seeing what might be the same. You know, a lot of change this year. We haven't seen this in 20 years. So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things, the unknown aspect. There's a little bit of like energy to that, I think. I think we heard some reference from that from the players. I mean, who cares what we think about, me and you or whoever the media.
Yeah,
there's unknown to me a little bit of adrenaline of that to know what kind of the difference is in routine, the different drills, the different things. I mean, we're used to, for 20 years, Richie, we go there and they're stretching and then they do the 7 shots, right? And that's kind of the start of practice, right? As far as we, in earnest, you know, how you follow it. And I assume there's no more 7 shots, that 2-point conversion drill that Mike Tomlin always did. Just little nuances like that. I mean, you were there over the summer, the OTA, the formats of those practices, just a different routine, a different feel to it, a different tempo and pace and everything. So you have all that. Then, yeah, you have some position battles. It'll be just to see sort of the new offense and the new defense. I know, obviously, they're not game planning and going to do full drives and things like that, and we won't see everything, blitz packet, but you'll see little snippets of everything in terms of how the defense and the offense are run. These are new coordinators, new play callers, and everything's kind of new. And in that sense, it's a unique camp we haven't seen here in a while, like you said.
Yo, and a schedule change too, right? 11 o'clock practice. We're going to have to be there much early. I think we have to be there by 8 in the morning on Tuesday. But the schedule changed. You know, Mike Tomlin tried this a couple years ago. We were up there. We remember it. It really didn't work out. It seems like not as many fans showed up when it was an 11 o'clock practice that ended at 1. I understand that, you know, maybe the weather is a little bit better for the athletes, maybe a little bit better for the fans. It'll be a little bit cooler, right? But, you know, do you think that it'll impact the attendance up there at all with the schedule change of an 11 o'clock practice compared to a 3 o'clock practice?
Well, you remember there was the one year under Mike Tomlin, late in his, about 3 years ago, I think it was, that he won even earlier. It was about 10:30, I think it was. And from what I recall, just anecdotally, remember the crowds seemed to be a little bit smaller. One thing also is that Mike McCarthy, talking about attendance and schedule changes, Tomlin generally had off either the Monday or Tuesday during that first 2 weeks there before the games start in terms of camp, the 1 day off a week that you give the players. So generally, those would be the days off. Those probably aren't the highest attendance days. Mike McCarthy's giving off the players. There's no practice on Sundays, which I think Sundays were one of the most highly attended days. So in that sense, I assume the attendance might be down a little bit in terms of practice, in terms of a training camp situation. But I don't know if to me, it's like you would think, right? A lot of people just makes sense. A lot of people would take a half a day, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, so during the week.
Those people can't do that anymore. Now you have to take a full day off, I guess, if you want to go to Steelers practice. So you think by that rationale, there might be fewer people there. I don't know, but you're right. You would think, again, generally speaking, it's a little bit cooler at 11 a.m. than it is at 3. I remember Aaron Rodgers last year was complaining openly. Wasn't much he complained about Mike Tomlin, but that was one thing. He was like, I'm just going to take these afternoon practice. Oh, why we're doing it in the heat? I don't understand. Why don't we just do it in the morning?
You know, speaking of attendance, the Pirates may take a hit on attendance coming up here if they continue to play like they did here tonight. 11-0. This was the game that everyone was looking forward to. All I heard was Yinzer Palooza, Dr. Robbie, bobblehead, playing with my friends today. They had to leave early, playing golf with my friends today. They had to leave early. They had to get out of there because they wanted to stand in line to get the Dr. Robbie bobblehead from the pit. I've watched a few episodes. Not a bad show. I have to get through it.
But it's still kind of a gut punch when that happens. You have this boogeyman, the pitcher that you can't score on now, and 7 starts against them. You have 1 run. Is that right? Or what is it, 5? I don't know what it is. 1 extra base hit. It's crazy how they can't get to him at all. Man.
By the way, Paul Skeens is 0-4 now at home against the Cubs. This is his 6th start, and he has like a 4+ ERA against the Cubs at home.
How many times has he faced, Imagua? I want to make sure I don't get his name.
Yeah.
How many times I bet you faced
Imagua.
Yeah, in years past, if the Pirates don't score against them, it feels like last season whenever Skeens would do all those games where he'd give up 1 run and lose anyway, or give up 2 runs maybe and lose. And at least this time.
Well, that's what happened in his last start, May 28th. He allowed 1 earned, and the Pirates couldn't provide any offense, and they ended up losing that game 7-2.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, I don't want to put too much importance on tomorrow's game, but you feel like you can't get swept. You can't get to a 4-game losing streak. If you get swept, you're really kind of almost, it's like at that point, are you ever going to catch the Cubs? I know there's 3 wild card berths, so it doesn't mean the end of anything at all, but at some point, you kind of got to stop the bleeding there. And that, like I said, it's just so Ashcraft now all of a sudden, which is their best pitcher for the first 3 months of the season, really the last 2 or 3 starts hasn't been at his best. You really need him to kind of bounce back tomorrow. Yeah,
I mean, if the Pirates have to face the Cubs in a wild card series, you know who they're pitching with the first game. There's no question about that. Imanaga, who pitched tonight. So look, these 2 series, this homestand. I know we got to go to break here. I was hoping for better than 3-3, but I'd take 3-3. That means they have to win tomorrow, and they got to take 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks. All right, so scan that QR code on the right-hand corner of your screen. Our Penn West University live poll question tonight: are the Pirates' chances of making the postseason over? Overwhelmingly, yes. A lot of our viewers think 87%. I don't think so yet. They're maybe 2 games out of a wild card spot. But the team that you're looking at right now, you're eyeing up is Arizona. That's the more important. I know I'm kicking the can down here. I know Arizona series is more important than the Chicago series because they're also chasing Arizona, and that's the team they're closer to for that 3rd and final wild card spot. But we got to take a break. And, Chris, I want to hear your thoughts coming up next. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity Tweet of Night. Shota Imanaga in 6 career starts versus the Pirates. We were just talking about this. 38 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts. Look at the ERA and the whip. Unbelievable what this guy's been able to do against the Pirates over the years. And unbelievable that Paul Skeens has been bad against the Cubs in, 6 starts at PNC Park. Still winless after tonight's blowout loss, 11-0. Skeens has been the Pirates' best pitcher since the All-Star break, even before that. But tonight wasn't a good one. He was pretty dominant through 4 innings, but after that, he struggled a little bit. 3rd time through the order, they get to him a little bit. That little changeup, PCA took it off the wall, short hopped, and it kind of changed things a little bit. Jared Jones pitched pretty well yesterday. They ended up losing that one. I think a couple of mistakes. They couldn't get the hitting yesterday. They couldn't get those bats going today. And does it worry you that the number 1 offense in baseball at one point in the season, right there at the All-Star break, you got Brian Reynolds batting like 138. Ryan O'Hearn, since the All-Star break, is batting like 140. And Brandon Lau is right around 140. These guys are not hitting. The guys that you need to produce runs aren't doing it.
Yeah, it is a worry because you lead the league, and that's great. The major leagues and runs lead at that point. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the ball. It's but almost like the regression to the mean is happening here right now, right? And,
yeah.
And you would hope and think, okay, you believe in the guys, and they've had great first halves, but some of them have history to suggest that first half isn't going to be sustainable throughout the season. And now it's like maybe they're also all coming back to where their kind of career averages are. And and you got to realize too. I mean, to all the Pirates' credit, they were leading the majors in offense, or amongst the league leaders, with 4 of their main guys on the IL, and they still are. I mean, it's hard to have any team. The Dodgers would have trouble if they had guys like a Cruz and a Griffin and Horwitz and Andy Rodriguez.
Andy Rodriguez still out.
Yeah,
I mean,
4 of their 9 regulars that's really hard to overcome.
And Chris, think about it. You know, they've been winning with guys like Valdez while these guys weren't producing. And now that Valdez isn't hitting, it really shows the inept offense from the Pirates right now. Let's go out to the phone lines. We got Bill out in Carrick. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, Rich. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Hey, Rich. I think the Pirates are done. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, it's just a roller coaster ride, Chris. Almost like when we ride the roller coaster of the Steelers season sometimes. You know, at one point in the season, you might think they're Super Bowl contenders, and all of a sudden you lose to Cleveland, and they might not even make the playoffs. It feels like a little bit of that. I'm riding a roller coaster. You know, they've been playing so well lately, and you get to a homestand like this, and you start out 0-2, and you just looked completely defeated today. You know how Clint Hurdle used to say, hey, shower it off. I don't know how easy it is to shower off an 11-0 loss.
Yeah, it is crazy this year. Just from, and I'll throw myself in there too, the reaction alone. Because one thing in a football season where there's only 17 games and you can do that and you can ride, they don't play a game for a week. But it seems like this year with the Pirates, we do that a lot, where they come off, they sweep the Brewers, and all of a sudden this team could make the playoffs. This team's can make a run, and then all of a sudden, they're a 3-game losing streak now, and people are saying the season's over. And I've done that a few times leading up to this point. Say, oh, the season's over. What are they going to do? I feel like I was in here a night 3 or 4 weeks ago like that, and then they go and they have that great homestand and sweep the Brewers, like I said. So it's not that. You got to get everybody back healthy, and that's the point, I guess. And I guess Horowitz is the first one to come back, and it's not.
Horowitz and Rodriguez, and then probably O'Neal Cruz. You need Horowitz and Cruz back in the lineup. There's no question about it. You're not going to get Griffin back until September, but you need those guys back in the lineup. You can't piece it together with the Billy Cooks, even though he had some good games, and Jacob Gonzalez, and he had a couple good games too. You need that. You need your best lineup in there. Let's go out to Bob in Westview. How you doing, Bob?
I'm good. How you doing, guys?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, it's like every year, it seems like every year, they run into a team, just for instance, the Yankees, and then they fall apart because, that last game, they couldn't score no runs. Yesterday, they scored, what, 1 run, 2 runs?
Yeah, 2 runs.
And then tonight, they scored no runs. It's like, I don't know, Don Kelly needs to go, and that Ben Cherington needs to go.
Yeah, look, I don't know how much it is Don Kelly's fault. I mean, I know you got to manage, load management. I mean, we heard that last year with Tomlin and stuff, that you got to manage these pitchers and the pitch count. And I think that's a directive from Cherington or from trainers with a lot of these guys. But I would love to see guys go into the 7th inning, at least the starters, and then you shrink that bullpen a little bit. And, I was saying this yesterday. Whatever happened to the middle relievers that go 2-3 innings? We hardly see that anymore, except for Carmen Majinski.
Yeah, that's one of the. I guess the newest reliever they acquired has the ability to do that a little bit, and part of it is modern baseball. When I get it, I certainly share the frustration with it. I don't know if Donnie Kelly, like you said, there's always questions about it organizationally. There's always medical people. There's all kind of. It's not the same game anymore where pitchers don't go over 100 pitches or 105 pitches, whatever it is might be as the cap. And so I have a hard time sitting here and criticizing Don Kelly when I don't think it's his necessarily decision, and it's just a new era of baseball and a lot of things like that. So, now Cherington, he's in year 7 here. I mean, Donnie Kelly's only, 16 months into his tenure as manager, and he probably has, he certainly has a better record than his predecessor, that's for sure. If we want to talk general manager, he's still the guy and listen, I understand there's a lot of reason to criticize Ben Cherington, but he's still the guy that brought in Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn and has had these good drafts the past couple of years here too. So it's frustrating, I get it. They still haven't had a winning season yet. But at the same time, at least it seems like things are pointing on the upward for the first time in a while.
Stephen in Rochester. How you doing, Stephen?
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Richie. I want to talk about Pirates pitching, the bullpen. What do you think? Do we need at the trade deadline to pick it?
100%. Look, 100% they need to be buyers. You need to get at least 2 more relievers in here, maybe another starter. I'm more interested in getting 2 relievers. I know the Mason Miller talk is out there. I don't know what a closer can do for you in a game like this. You need someone that's better than Isaac Mattson, someone that can help out the starting pitching. That's my opinion. Chris, I don't know about yours.
What's frustrating to me, and I just kind of almost quasi-defended Charrington a minute ago, is he's made 3 moves now to get relievers to help this bullpen, and none of the 3 guys are any good.
Yeah.
They've all had bad numbers when they got here, and then they've gotten
Yeah.
here, they've been just as bad, including the tonight making his debut, and then Hunter Stratton before that, and Isert before that. It seems like Isert's, all these guys have gotten into games now and been part of the problem. They haven't been part of the solution whatsoever.
Callahan was their best pitcher tonight, which is funny. All right, we got Matt on the line too, and John. We got to take a break first. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Coverage. Walsh along with Chris Adamski. Let's go right back out to the phone lines. We got Matt out in Indiana. How you doing, Matt?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Do you think the Pirates are going to give Jacob Gonzalez a chance to play third base next year? Because, they probably ain't going to sign Brandon Lau.
Well, Brandon Lau is going to be gone. I don't know what the plan is for Jacob Gonzalez or what they're going to do next year. You have Nick Gonzalez there, too, Jared Triolo. They might have to find a third baseman. Hopefully Connor Griffin is back and healthy next year. But I'm thinking about this year. And this year they need some pitching help. There's no question about it. And that's what they have to address, Chris, at the deadline coming up on August 3rd.
Yeah, I think Ben Charrington made a reference to that Jacob Gonzalez is an option to go in the future here to play somewhere in the infield. He's been pretty good so far. He's been least of their problems offensively, and you're right. But pitching all the way wise now, I heard a stat today from Dan Zangrilli on the pregame show. Actually, I believe it was where I heard it that the Pirates' starting rotation ERA is almost identical to their bullpen ERA, which is kind of crazy for me to think of. But so maybe you need an extra starter, too, if you're really going to make a run at this thing this year. Yeah,
you could move Carmen Majitsky back if another guy gets in trouble here to the starting rotation. But you're right. These starters aren't getting deep enough in the games, and that's a major problem, and that's why it's exposing this bullpen. Thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate your time. And I will see you on Tuesday at St. Vincent in Latrobe. And hopefully I'll see you guys on KDK News in just a couple minutes.